Hello there, and welcome back to the Chaps Guide, the channel where we explore the topics of men's style, self-development and personal grooming. And today, well, we're going to talk about the 8 enigmatic status symbols of style, because we can use those style status symbols to help us understand more about the people that we meet, and in fact to weaponize the way that we look and present ourselves to the world to best possible effect for us chaps. Because never forget that 80% of the way that people interact with each other is through non-verbal communications. It's not about talking, it's not about speaking, it's about observing, looking and reading the prompts that other people give off in the way that they dress, the way that they act. So these are important things, and today we're going to take a look at that. Now, I consider myself to be quite an observant chap, probably as a consequence of spending a lifetime in investigative professions. And I know that when I enter a room, I can look around at a room full of strangers and interpret some of the prompts that I see in the way that they dress and the way that they are acting with other people. And I use these things to my best possible effect. Think of it as, in a very unpleasant way of saying it, perhaps sorting the wheat from the chaff. You walk into a room, there are 10 people in the room, you need to decide who you're going to interact with. Consider it, a conference mixer in the evening. And you look at the various things that we're going to talk about today, and they will allow you to weaponize your decision, to decide who is perhaps the more successful person in the room, who's the person that you want to invest your time with. So, let's look at some of these things that can help us draw our conclusions about style success. Now, my tip number 1 is one that'll come as no surprise to the more sartorially connected chaps who are watching this, and that is, look for the people who have a great fit on their clothing. Now, if you walk into a room and everybody's wearing a suit, it's hard to delineate who is successful, who's the boss, because everybody looks the same. It's kind of the corporate uniform of the modern era. Everybody's either wearing a navy blue suit or a charcoal grey suit. So how do you determine who's who? Well, for me, I look at the way that those suits fit, because if somebody is wearing a well-fitted suit, that looks as if it's been tailored, it fits the body well, it accentuates the positive features of their body and hides the negative, that person has gone to the next level of attention to detail in their clothing. If you look around the room and some of the men are wearing baggy suits that look like they've just gone into a store and bought that suit off a rack in a supermarket clothing section, well, you can pretty much generally say those are not the leaders of industry and the captains of the themes that they're there to talk about. So you can really, look at the clothing. Remember, fit is king, and people who understand clothing will know that as well. And they will invest time in going to a tailor, getting their clothes altered, or if they're really successful, they'll be wearing a bespoke tailored suit. So look for the way that the suit fits the man to make a decision as to whether they are well connected and they've invested time in the clothing that they're wearing. Obviously, for you, as a person who wants to portray yourself well to others, this is a tip that you can take to your own clothing. Now, if you've got a suit that doesn't fit you very well, get yourself down the tailor, get it altered, because the way that it fits you will mean that people who are looking at you, observing you, will pick you out to be the person who's a success. Use those style status symbols to your effect, as well as in the way that you interpret it in others. Now, when it comes to the way that your clothing defines you, for me, one of the most obvious things that I always look at when I meet somebody new for the first time, I look down and I look at the shoes, because for me the shoes are the window to the character of the person that you're about to meet or that you're talking to. If I'm standing talking to somebody who's got a cheap pair of composite or plastic shoes, plastic soles, they haven't been well taken care of, they're dirty, whatever it may be, that is an indication of the character of the chap that you're talking to. If the person you meet has got a beautiful pair of well cared for, well shined leather shoes, it means that they care about the way they look, they've taken the time and trouble to look after their shoes. Even if they've gone to a shoe shine and had somebody to shine them for them, they've invested in those shoes. More likely, they've spent their own time looking after those shoes and making them look their very best. And that tells me a lot about the person that's standing in front of me. I very much use the shoe as a way to give me an indication of the person that I'm talking to. So you can do the same as well, don't forget. You know, if you've got a pair of shoes, even if you cannot afford expensive shoes, spend some time with the shoes that you've got, bringing them up to a lovely shine. You know, don't forget, a shine can often take the gloss away from things that are not that good about your shoes. So if your shoes are inexpensive, a really good shine will draw the eye rather than the manufacture of the shoes. So, you know, use the shoe to give you an indication of the person that you're speaking to. And of course, make sure your shoes are the best in the room for the shine, if nothing else. That way you'll be, you know, displaying to the world that you are a person who takes care of the details and likes things that look sharp, and you are sartorially elegant. Now, when you're meeting people for the first time, yes, you look at the suit, yes, you look at the shoes. They are large and they're on display for you to see. What's the next thing you look at? Well, for me, if I'm close enough, I look to see what sort of watch the chap that I'm talking to is wearing on his wrist, because it gives me an indication again whether this is somebody who's interested in being classical, conservative, you know, very much elegant. Because if you're wearing a Casio watch, it tells a lot about you. Not negative, I'm not making judgments here, but if you're wearing a Casio watch, it means you're functional, utilitarian in nature. You don't believe in wasting money on fanciful fripperies like an expensive watch. But if you are wearing an Omega or Cartier or something like that, it suggests to me that you're somebody who's interested in the classics. You like looking classical in nature, and the fine detail of something like a wristwatch is important to you. As I say, it's not making judgments, it's just building an impression of the person that you're about to meet and the things that are important to them. Because if you've invested in a fine wristwatch, it tells you a lot about them, and it's just useful for you going forward when you've made that interpretation. Now, the next enigmatic style status symbol that I'm going to talk about is a bit more materialistic, and that's your vehicle, your car, or whatever mode of transport that you use to get around. You might be, you know, somebody who only uses a bicycle. Now, it might sound incredibly shallow to think that you will judge somebody on the vehicle that they drive, but as I say, you can only work with what you can see. And when it comes to people that you meet, you will undoubtedly be judged on the vehicle that you drive. Whether you're somebody who likes utilitarianism, you know, a Land Rover, or a vehicle which is a go-anywhere tough vehicle. Or do you like sports cars, which are somewhat less practical, but suggests a love of speed and a willingness to invest large sums of money in your vehicle? It's just something to think about. You know, when you're meeting people for the first time in a situation where you will see their vehicle, or where perhaps people will see yours. And if you're wondering, for the last 12 years, I've been a driver of the Volkswagen Golf. I've had more than one over that period of time, but I like cars which are practical, sensible, don't stand out in the crowd, and will always get me from A to B with as little fuss as necessary. Simple as houses, that's the sort of guy that I am, but everybody's different, and it's worth thinking about that if your vehicle is going to be something that will be in the frame if you're meeting people, or people are meeting you for the first time. Now, my next enigmatic style status symbol is technology, because in this fast-moving world where technology is advancing faster than any of us could possibly have imagined 20 years ago, you will be judged by your grip on the technology of the era. You know, do you wear a smartwatch? We talked about watches. Wearing a smartwatch sends a very definitive signal to the people that you meet. If you pull out your mobile telephone and you've got an iPhone 6, like I have, when the latest iteration is an iPhone 12, it says something about you, that you're not somebody who perhaps keeps up with technology. If you are, you know, not able to use the technology of the modern era, this will have an impact on the way that people think of your capability and your ability to perhaps fit into their company or fit into their network of associates. So think about that. If you're going to go for a job interview and you're going to have to get your phone out to exchange numbers with somebody, if your phone is an analog dial-up phone in an era where everybody else is carrying an iPhone or some other form of high-level technology, it's going to say something about you. Of course, it also allows you to read more about the people that you meet, but just think about the impact that will have. Now, the next status symbol I'm going to talk about is your poise, your bearing. And what I mean by that is your ability to act in a gentlemanly way in all aspects of your life. Using politeness and good manners is something which is not negotiable when you're a gentleman. Say please and thank you to people all of the time. Address strangers as sir or madam. Shake hands when meeting somebody for the first time, and do so with genuine good intent. Don't crush somebody's knuckles, don't give them a limp fish to shake, but grab their hand, let them feel the strength of your character and the warmth of your heart in the hand that you offer them to shake. Always make sure that people who do things positively for you get a recognition from you. Go out of your way to say thank you. Send people handwritten notes to express your appreciation for something which has been, well done by another person. These things will not go unnoticed. They will set you apart from the crowd. People will remember you. They will remember you for being the polite, decent person with good poise and bearing, and that can only be a good thing going forward when building relationships. So let's talk about body language. It's a hugely important part of unspoken human interaction. And when we talk about body language, it's all about being open, expressive, and wanting people to come over to you and to speak to you. When you're in a room, make sure you turn towards people who enter the room and use open hand movements towards them. Make eye contact, smile. People react remarkably well to people who show positive facial expressions towards them, and look happy and make eye contact. These are the things which will draw people towards you, and people will feel the warmth of your character as a consequence of doing that. Listen actively when people speak to you. Allow them to express themselves and to talk, and then interact appropriately using your observations from the conversation. Don't just wait for people to talk until you can get in and make your point heard. Listen intently to what people are saying to you and interact with what they're saying. Ask questions. Bring more out of them, because when people are talking about themselves or are being allowed to express a point, they feel important and valued by the people that they meet, and you can enable people to do that, and before you know it, they will just really warm to you. And this is how positive relationships are built, using these enigmatic status symbols of style. Well, thank you for sticking it out to this point in the video. We've reached the 8 enigmatic status style symbols, but because you've stayed with me, you're going to get a bonus. And this is, remember, you will be judged by the company that you keep. So if your best friend is somebody who goes into the bar, gets atrociously drunk, throws beer around and starts a fight with strangers, that is how other people who see you in that company are going to remember you. However, if you go out with people who are captains of industry, winners of the Nobel Prize, people will consider you to be in that flight of human achievement, and that reflected achievement will shine upon you. So think carefully about the people you hang around with, or certainly who you're going to be in company with if you've got an important thing coming up. So if you're going to a conference, in the bar afterwards, things like that, because it reflects on you incredibly, and you don't want to drop a clanger at an opportunity that could be a positive thing for you. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed these 8 enigmatic status symbols of style. If you have, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to leave us a comment in the comment section below. If I've missed any things out that you think would have been valid to express to other chaps, let me know, and perhaps we'll do an update video sometime in the future. But until then, don't forget, look sharp, stay stylish, and I will see you very soon.